relationships, collaborating online, and that's what everyone is saying. Leading virtual sales conversations, gaining and keeping attention, leveraging technology, making ROI cases, delivering value. All of that was difficult, even or a very hard for salespeople, even before this whole new economic environment. And this pandemic has actually made it even tougher. So what we did at Rain Group was that we conducted a global study of 528 buyers and sellers across Americas, EMEA and APAC to find out, do these become more difficult when a seller is selling virtually versus face to face? Are some areas more difficult for sellers than others? And what influences buyers' purchase decisions when buying virtually? So before I share that, let's do a poll. Ashish, can you help me launch the poll? So what are the top 3 challenges that sellers are facing today when selling virtually? You can select you can select 3 out of these, and let's see what does the audience feel about it. What have you experienced? That what are the top 3 selling challenges or challenges for sellers when they are selling virtually? So what I see as the top one that people are saying is gaining a buyer's attention and keeping buyers engaged virtually is the topmost challenge. The second being prospecting and filling the pipeline virtually. The third one that we see is connecting with buyers and building rapport. And then developing relationships and changing buyers' view of what's possible. So let's look at what does the research say. Okay, the top 2 challenges were changing buyers' point of view on what's possible or how to solve a problem, and gaining a buyer's attention and keeping buyers engaged virtually. Fundamentally, it's all about how do I engage them, how do I get their attention, how do I keep them engaged virtually. And that is the number 1 challenge that the sellers are facing today. We've heard things like it's hard to cut through the noise to get the buyer's attention. Our biggest challenge is reading the room. It's hard to do virtually, so we don't know. We could see the body language earlier, and we could see what the buyer is thinking, what's the reaction, whether he's excited or not, etc. All that is something we can't see. It's easier to do whiteboard in the physical world, right? And that's another thing. The next 2 challenges were from about building relationships, right? So connecting with buyers and building rapport and developing relationships with buyers virtually. So it's all about that. The conversations are becoming more transactional, right? It gets over in 5 minutes. Whereas earlier I will have a cup of tea, and we will talk a lot more about things which were non-business. So the non-business conversations are really taking the beating. Things that we heard were like it's hard to make a positive first impression virtually without having the power of face-to-face interaction. I find it easier to conduct virtual sales meetings with existing clients, but with new prospects, that is difficult. So that is another piece which is coming out very strongly. That people whom I have known from earlier, whom I have a rapport with, who trust me, and there it's easier. But people whom I have never known, it's when a new prospect, there I'm facing far more problems. Now let's look at it from the buyer side. But before that, what is it that you could do? A few tips on that. So what you can do is create time and space for building rapport. Make sure there is that time. Be much more proactive and deliberate in your relationship building efforts. So don't leave it to chance, right? Leave time at the beginning of your meetings for a personal check-in. Reach out more frequently, as Tapan said, that to buyers, and reference non-business topics you have discussed in your meetings, right? Do make sure that you talk about children, hobbies, sports, world events. So some of these are important aspects. And turn on the video during meetings, and I have seen and personally experienced that a lot of people do not turn on the videos. But that's the only window now we have, right? In the absence of face-to-face. And make sure that you tell your buyers also that seeing them helps build trust and rapport. So these are a few things that we can do to mitigate this challenge. you know, so while we touched upon some of the prospecting parts, etc., right? Maybe I would like to hear from you too also that what is it that you see, the world of prospecting, how is that impacted specifically, and some of the learnings that you may want to share. I understand that your business has been doing better, especially from the existing clients, but from a prospecting point of view.